Welcome.
Thank you.
You're here as part of our Simon Family JCC book fair.
Right.
We've been selling a lot of books by Jewish authors and about Jewish culture. One book I came across is called Cool Jew. So what do you think it is that makes Jews so cool?
So cool. Where to begin? I think we have a sensibility, a sense of humor. I think, at least as a comedian, comedy is all about being on the outside looking in. And Jews, by virtue of being on the outside for so much of our history, we have this unique perspective where we can comment on it and share, put forth our thoughts, usually, at least for comedy, in a comedic way. And I think that outsiderness, I think, is actually kind of cool, because although it might seem appealing to be part of mainstream society, there's something about being outside the lines that's quirky and lets you think differently.
Hanukkah is just around the corner. If you were going to explain Hanukkah to a child that has never experienced it, how would you compare it to Christmas?
I would not go the route of 8 days instead of 1. I think that's it's too simplistic. I mean, look, Christmas is important to Christians for their reasons. Hanukkah, I would explain the story. I'd talk about the Maccabees beating the Greeks, or was it the Romans, the people we beat, and not enough oil for 8 days, lasted 8 days. In commemoration of that, we eat potato pancakes fried in 8 times the amount of oil recommended by the Food and Drug Administration. It's a very Jewish holiday that we have a miracle and then ruin it with a disgusting food.
What are the best and worst Hanukkah gifts you've ever received?
The best, I remember when I was about 8 or 9, I got like a Chicago Bears football uniform, a helmet, jersey, pants, pads, shoulder pads, which was the closest I ever got to playing professional football as a Jew. Worst gift, probably socks from my grandmother. And as she got older and began to get ill with Alzheimer's, she would give me very bizarre gifts, bars of soap and spaghetti sauce, and clearly wanted to help me, but also not the most appealing, sexy gifts from your grandmother.
How did you get into comedy?
Really started doing comedy in high school. We had a comedy group at my high school, and I was in it. And in college at the University of Pennsylvania, there's an all-male comedy group called Mask and Wig. We dress up in drag, and that was a lot of fun. I look awesome in a dress. By the way, you can check pictures online. And in Mask and Wig, I was the head writer and the director, and for 4 years, writing comedy, it showed me that, it could be a discipline, that if it was something, if I tried to do every day, I could treat it like a job, that there would actually be a product. So it showed me that comedy could be treated as a job.
Comedians like Sarah Silverman and Doug Stanhope have compared being a stand-up comedian to being a rock star. Do you agree?
Well, I mean, for those guys, they get huge amounts of money, so for them there probably is a rock star element. And I can see what they mean. I mean, for that hour when you're on stage, no matter what level you're at, if you're doing an hour on stage, there's a sense of control and a sense of just sharing your ideas. In a rock star's situation, it's a song, but for comedian, it's your jokes, and you're getting that instant feedback, which I think is even more than rock stars get. Unless they're singing along with your song, really in comedy, you get the most feedback. So that's probably the rock star element they're talking about.
Can you tell us a little about your book, The 188th Crybaby Brigade?
Yeah, The 188th Crybaby Brigade, on its most basic level, it's a humorous memoir about my years as a combat soldier in the Israeli army. After college, I moved to Israel, served in the IDF as a tank gunner, was in Lebanon for a few months, and the book is my take on what it means to be a 24-year-old American in a platoon of 18-year-old Israelis, which is what I was.
And how do you think your experience would have been different if you had joined when you were 18?
I wouldn't have been ready when I was 18. I think when you grow up in Israel, you're ready to go to the army at 18 because it's just part of your culture. You grow up knowing that it's in you.